All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the news for the day. Morning Joe co-host, who likened Trump to Hitler, opened dialogue with him at Mar-a-Lago. Let's establish some truths here. The media committed defamation of character and slander against Donald Trump at a level in which we've never seen before in the history of slander and defamation of character. And so they now know, with his pending lawsuits against other major media corporations, that those lawsuits can hurt them personally. And somebody will say, DW, that's not how the law works. Well, it's really simple. If Donald Trump sues MSNBC, if I'm not mistaken, that's who they're with, and he says, hey, and they say, well, Trump, what can we do to make this right? He can just say, hey, listen, I want Mika and I want Joe gone forever, never to come back on your airwaves again. And so, of course, Mika and Joe have to kiss the ring. And I want you to prepare for this, ladies and gentlemen. There are going to be a lot of people who have to kiss the ring. A lot of them are going to have to kiss the ring because they went way too far with this foolishness. To liken him to Hitler, remember, and it is hard to remember these things because time, it's so much jammed in your head with the lies here and there, and it's happening so fast. But if you remember, there was a rally at Madison Square Garden, and everybody said it was a rally, and they likened him to Hitler. Jim Carvell, Mika Brzezinski, Joe Scarborough, Whoopi Goldberg, all of them likened it to Hitler's rally. And so what you're seeing right here is you're seeing the wave, the first wave of people breaking. And you're going to see a lot of people breaking under the weight of Donald Trump. They don't have a choice. And that's the beauty of having a man that's strong enough and rich enough to just stand there and take that punishment. That's the one thing that he did for the American people, is he took the brunt force of the entirety of the deep state, CIA, and every other government agency, all of them gunning for him for 8 years. They gunned at this man for 8 years, and they're still gunning for him. Don't get it wrong. If they have an opportunity to take this man's life, they will take his life. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was prior to this to even make an attempt. But nonetheless, they're still going to gun for him. And so now we get into the capitulation phase because people don't have a choice. They may pretend and scream and rant and rave and, oh, he's a fascist, he's this, he's that. Bruh, they don't have a choice at this point in time. It really just has to play out. So, of course, Mika and Joe went to go see Donald Trump. Now, here's a more interesting thing about what's going to come. I hate when my nose is stuffy like this. Here's the most interesting thing that has to happen. You see, the left has to eat its own now. So they're going to get roasted and they're going to get attacked by the left. And this is what wakes people up as they get attacked by all their compadres because they made a decision to go have a conversation with the president-elect. Because, think about it. There will be no TV shows if you're attacking Donald Trump. Nobody's going to watch a show if you're far left. The far left media is dead. So in order to even swing back to the center, they need to apologize. It was the Cuomo brother who just recently did this. He was the first one to do it. He was smart. Cuomo brother came out, apologized to Donald Trump, took a position in the center, moved away from the far left. So now you're going to see all these people come out, they're going to apologize, and they're going to move towards the center because they realize that this far left, this foolishness is not working. If they want to have a career, they're going to at least have to move to the center. But as they move, as more of them and more of them come to that decision and they try to move, now the left is going to attack them like a snake eating its own tail. And I'm here for all of it. And I'm going to show you all of it. In fact, let me go see. I'm pretty sure it's got to be happening already. There's no doubt about it's happening already. If they've already met with him, which it looks like they have, they've been attacked. Watch this. I'll be right back. Well, it doesn't look like they started getting attacked yet, but let's see what they had to say.
Over the past week, Joe and I have heard from so many people, from political leaders to regular citizens, deeply dismayed by several of President-elect Trump's cabinet selections, and they are scared. Last Thursday, we expressed our own concerns on this broadcast and even said we would appreciate the opportunity to speak with the president-elect himself. On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was...
What is that look on Joe Scarborough's face? Y'all see it? What is this look? It's kind of a smirk. Who are they signaling to?
The first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that.
There it is. That's why they had to go get their sit down. I'm telling you. Listen to them.
7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by...
They went and apologized. They went and apologized because they know relevance does not exist outside of Donald Trump.
Reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump.
Y'all saw the lizard people glitch? Look at that's the lizard people glitch happening. Watch.
That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not...
Lizard people glitch. I just wanted to show you. People be like, well, DW, there's no lizard people. All right. Don't make me go off. Don't make me go left and show you all the damn lizard people that's in your government. And I'm going to stop right here and I'm just going to go left real quick. You do realize the battle ain't really just Democrat and Republican. You do realize the battle is really basically inner earth beings versus us humans. They call them crypto-terrestrial beings is what they call them. They did a whole report on it, but all I'm gonna say is this is just one layer of what battle that's happening, the fight that's going on. Whatever.
Spoken to President Trump since March of 2020.
Other
than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times.
Because you have no choice, Mika. Because you could go to prison, Mika. Especially once he gets rid of this Smith-Mont Act where you can't just propagandize the American people. You need to find a place to exist. Your relevance is at stake. Now, Donald Trump is nicer than me. He's more merciful than me. They wouldn't have had no conversation with me. They don't deserve a conversation, but it has to happen. And this is why God chose Donald Trump. Because he's a G. He an OG. He the greatest OG. He knew they needed to have a sit down. And even them sitting down with him is going to destroy them.
Especially between us. I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump.
This is what happens when you win the popular vote right here, boy. This is what happens when he wins the popular vote. See, there's no more leg to stand on. Oh, he won the electoral college, but he didn't win the pop. No, this is what happens when you win the popular vote. Everybody got to bow down.
Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote.
Exactly. I just told you, 80 million, it's the popular vote, baby. Everybody is starting to understand that nobody likes them on the left. Everybody on the left is starting to understand that nobody at all likes them. They don't agree with them. They don't want to hear that foolishness. You are talking in the echo chamber. You're talking to crazy people who are running around, cutting off their hair and tattooing testosterone DNA molecules on their necks.
Joe and I realized it's time to do something different. And
thank you.
And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
You're damn right. You better talk to him, Trick. You better talk to him. Yeah. This right here, this is what you call victory. Remember how he says we're going to win? Excuse me. Remember how he says we're going to win and we're going to keep on winning and we're going to win and we're going to win so much you get tired of winning? Yeah. This is what you call winning right here. These two clowns. Matter of fact, it's even better if I show you what they were saying. Now, let's juxtapose this humility that we see right here with what they were saying just like about a week ago. Hold on. We're going to do a juxtaposition so you can understand how much of a win. Now, let's juxtapose that attitude to the attitude they had prior to him winning the election, just so we'll understand.
Do you not call it a threat to democracy when Donald Trump says that he wants to execute the chairman of the Joint Chiefs for treason?
And he should.
Is that not a threat?
He definitely should.
Saying that your vice president deserves lynching, saying that to your legal counsel on January 6th, is that not a threat to democracy? Undermining Americans' confidence in voting? When you know, because the Wall Street Journal editorial page has been very clear. And I will say, have done the right thing repeatedly, calling out Donald Trump's lies when it comes to widespread election fraud. Is that not a threat to democracy? What exactly is a threat? What rises to the threat of democracy that we have ever seen in America since the Civil War, if what Donald Trump has done over the past 4 years does not?
What you have done over the past 8 years has risen to a threat to democracy. And we are not a democracy, we are a republic. The democracy that y'all talk about is you low down, dirty, sandy beaches. This is their language. This is their rhetoric. Watch.
Please give us the permission structure. I know you're desperate for a permission structure not to vote for Kamala Harris and to get people to vote for Donald Trump. Anti-Trumpism, it is something. If they gave out gold medals for it, you'd get it. You would. But please, tell me. And this is a question Bill Maher was asking this weekend correctly. If this is not a threat to American democracy, what we have seen over the past 4 years, and if that is somehow hate speech that is riling up violent rhetoric, please tell me. Define for me, what is a threat to American democracy? It's certainly not people going around speaking out against January the 6th. It's certainly not people.
Now, let me give you the backdrop of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is after they done tried to whack the president twice. And in my opinion, 3 times. Because I believe that plane emergency landing was an attempt for them to whack him as well. So you got to understand. There's a reason why these people had to go sit down and have a conversation with him. Because they kept on going hard after they tried to whack the man. And see, now their characterization of the conversation in Mar-a-Lago, ladies and gentlemen, we'll never know what that real conversation was. But I'll say this. We've seen enough of Donald Trump and we've heard enough about Donald Trump to know that it didn't go exactly the way these people laid it out. Like he was cheerful and he was this. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump told them, you do realize I'm about to be president. You do realize that you have lied, you have slandered, you've committed defamation of character. You do realize I am going to sue MSNBC. And so I have you over a barrel. You need to decide now what you're going to do. You can be an ally or you can be an enemy. And what it seems to me is if they've chosen to be allies. The problem is now they got to walk back all the rhetoric. They have to completely remake themselves and redo their images. And so what we saw earlier was them remaking themselves, creating a new image for themselves. But that didn't happen from no kumbaya moment. These type of people, they don't change from kumbaya. These are wicked people. They only understand power. They don't understand friendship and niceties. They only understand power.
Going out, speaking out about a presidential candidate and a former president saying he wants the chairman of the Joint Chiefs executed because he was insufficiently disloyal.
And look at the look on Mika's face. Like a full-on witch.
Is it?
With that witch nose.
Maybe you think it's the Donald Trump's chief of staff who came out and said Donald Trump says he wishes his generals could be like Hitler's generals because they were sufficiently loyal. Of course, Donald Trump, not even knowing that the Desert Fox and several others tried to blow him up and kill him. I mean, it really is. This is insanity. You know, you often hear about silly season. We have officially entered silly season when people that I have read and people I have respected and others have read and respected all across the ideological spectrum are shaming themselves right now, are shaming themselves, trying to flatten this race out and trying to make Donald Trump seem normal next to Kamala Harris. And the question I cannot answer, and I guess they will have to answer and readers will have to answer themselves. What is it? Mm-hmm. What is it that they fear about Kamala Harris so much that they're willing to say, you know what? We've already had 4 years of Donald Trump and it turned out okay. Oh, did it really?
These are the people, guys.
Brett?
So, when we really consider what's laid out in front of us, they got their butt whooped. They got their behinds handed to them in private. And don't for a second, ladies and gentlemen, think that they decided they were going to go down and meet with Donald Trump and eat crow. There had to be other things that happened behind the scenes. And I, for one, believe the thing that happened behind the scenes is that MSNBC got hit with that paperwork. He pencil whipped them. He said, look, MSNBC, it's going down out here in these streets. And he said, everybody's going to need to apologize. And Mr. President, what can we do to make this right? It's my understanding that, you have intentions of suing MSNBC. And what can we do to make it right? And then he starts laying out what he wants. And the first thing he said was, I want Mika and Joe to come to Mar-a-Lago. And then the people on MSNBC got on the phone. Mika, Joe, yeah, boss. Get on a plane, you're going down to Mar-a-Lago. For what, boss? You're going to meet with Donald Trump. Well, I don't want to meet. No, you're going to get your ass on this plane and you're going down here to meet with Donald Trump. Do you understand me? And you're going to go down there and you're going to behave like you got some sense or you're going to lose your job. And then Mika and Joe got on a plane. In fact, that's what this video is going to be named. Mika and Joe got on a plane. Yeah. That's what this video is. Mika and Joe got on a plane.